Fight. Since you lost, what's up, Jake? Where you going, Jake? Oh, he's running! He's running! Look at him!
Gervonta Davis acaba de dejar fuera de juego a Jake Paul con un puñetazo que sacudió todo internet justo a las afueras del aeropuerto internacional de Miami sin cámaras sin ring sin regla solo una verdadera pelea real. Los testigos gritaban las secretas a movilizo los teléfonos volaron por el aire mientras dos de los nombres más grandes del boxeo tank while the problem child cosi. Conversion una terminal del aeropuerto en una zona de guerra, why probablemente estés preguntando que pudo haber empujado a tank 10 legos.
After Canelo, obviously, didn't materialize, was the next one Tank?
Yeah. I mean, that was on the 1 yard line as well, but he has to rematch, Lamont Roach. He wants to get that back. And then we'll be back in discussions with Mr. Gervonta, but...
El conflicto es más profundo de lo que crees des provocaciones que cruzaron la línea hasta dramas contractuals y mensajes directos secretos que acaban de filtrar. Esto no fue solo una escaramuza aleatoria, esto fue personal. Y podrías el comienzo de una rivalidad que el mundo en siquiera sabía que necesitaba mantener atento porque esta historia este punto. De desarrollarse como una serie de boxeo de Netflix desde imagen filtradas hasta agendas ocultas y lo que esto significa para sus próximas peleas no creeres lo que realmente provocó es caos. Esto no fue solo violencia aleatoria, esto no fue un accident. Las tensions entre Jake Paul y Gervonta Davis en estado creciendo silenciosamente en las sombras del mundo del boxeo durante meses.
Who were you gonna call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
Esta vez Jake ladró pero equivocado Gervonta Davis a diferencia de muchos de los objetivos pasados de Jake. No entra en el juego de la payasada, no es una marioneta de las redes sociales. Este eco de otra pasta forjado en el dollar real. Las peleas reales y las consecuencias reales.
Tank Davis, bad dude. See, what I like about Tank is Tank brings something different. Back in the days, everybody had something. Muhammad Ali was a mover, boxer. George was a puncher. Ernest Shavers was a puncher. Everybody had something they brought to the table. Larry Holmes had a jab. Mike Weaver had overhand right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had something. That division now is full, and Tank having to be the knockout guy of the division. He the one with the main knockout power.
Cuando Jake bromeó sobre los problemas legales de Tank, le mandó un título ambulante y tuvo un impacto diferente.
Baltimore native and boxing champ Gervonta "Tank" Davis is sent to jail less than a month after he was ordered to serve 3 months of home detention. He was taken into custody after an impromptu hearing yesterday, and now he will finish his 90-day sentence in the Baltimore City jail. Deputies say Davis violated the terms of his home detention sentence in a 2020 hit-and-run crash. He said his home was too small, so he moved to the Four Seasons Hotel, but did not get permission from the judge. He received his 90-day sentence after pleading guilty in February to a crash that injured 4.
Y cuando se burló de Tank por sus problemas con Floyd Mayweather, Fernando que Tank era solo otro boxeador a la sombra de Floyd fue entonces cuando las cosas cruzaron la línea.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
Tank no respondió públicamente, pero entre bastidores estaba observando esperando gestandos avance rápido hasta el aeropuerto internacional de Miami. Gervonta, según los informes, volaba para una reunión privada con su equipo antes de su revancha con Lamont Roach. Jake el simplemente regresaba de un viaje de negocios de Davia y en la cima, después de vencer a Mike Tyson y en su controvertida pelea de exhibition.
What's going on?
What's up, Floyd?
I can have what I want.
What you mean with the camera? Oh, you got camera too? So what you supposed to...
Y en el momento en que se vieron fue como dos granadas en seguro entrando en la misma habitación. Testigos dicen que hubo tensión instantánea, no se intercambiaron palabras, no hubo saludos, solo pura animosidad. Y luego sucedió. Tank acortó la distancia con la velocidad que lo convirtió en uno de los golpeadores más temidos del juego. Si Jake recibió el mismo Gulp Q Frank Martin Cuando entro ring con tank. Sin embargo esta vez no hubo ring fu puro caos internet se volvió loco la gente estaba perdiendo la cabeza algunos fans lo llamaron justificado diciendo que Jake se lo merecía. Después de meses de charlas imprudentes otros dijeron que Gervonta fue demasiado lejos y que debería haberlo guardado para el ring.
Alright, Jake, I'm filming.
So guys, I'm in the hospital. I had an accident. I'm still gonna be able to fight August 6th, so get your tickets at msg.com before they sell out. But I broke my back carrying the promotion for this event. It's broken.
Oh, Jake, you good?
Nurse!
Jake,
Nurse,
you
more
good?
morphine!
Oh my God.
I broke my back carrying the last 5 fights promotion. My opponents never sell shit.
something.
Oh, it hurts!
Do something.
It hurts! These motherfuckers never sell shit! They couldn't sell a pen to a writer!
Entonces, por que Gervonta realmente explotó simos realistas tank ha estado lidiando con una montana de estas de su complicada separación con su entrenador de toda la vida Calvin Ford hasta la prisión de probas a sí mismo sin la guía de Floyd Mayweather pasando por redes federales y problemas legales el mundo del hombre ha estado girando sin control. Y Jake representa todo lo que tank. A día de la nueva escena del boxeo la invasión de influencers virus la publicidad fabricados. Pagos multimillonarios en verdadera galas.
Called a clown following the Tyson fight. Tell us, exactly why expound on that.
Cause why would he even wanting to fight him? And who told Mike Tyson to fight anyway?
Do you think that it might have tarnished Mike's legacy in a way?
Yeah, they did. They definitely did.
La victoria de Jake sobre Mike Tyson y Julio Solo Eco Mas Lena El Fuego y digamos Q Tank no era fan de QJ Pelera contra una leyenda Q esta cerca de los 60 ACI Q cuando Jake bromeó sobre la vida personal de Tank el drama de su mentoria y incluso su tiempo y en la cárcel no fue solo una falta de respeto fue un insulto añadido a la injuria para Tankies. Punitazo y en Miami no fue por los titulares fue por el respeto.
I think that it's fair to call them boxers now. We're talking about Logan Brothers.
I think it's okay to call Jake Paul a boxer. The only reason why I say that is because he do be in the gym. He's working on stuff. The fight that he fought Mike Tyson, I don't think he should have fought Mike Tyson because of who Mike Tyson is and the age. And he said that he didn't try to knock him out. Yes, you did. You just couldn't get the knockout. He tried.
Pero no todo el mundo está comprando el caos o para la letra y en número creciente de fans cree que todo el incident del aeropuerto fue escenificado cuidadosamente orquestado para generar expectación por lo que ahora se ha confirmado oficialmente Gervonta Davis contra Jake Paul se llevará a cabo este noviembre.
It's not a terrible fight. We know that Gervonta is going to fight Jake Paul in November. And then we'll see what happens.
El propio Eddie Herno la bomba revelando que la pelea esta cerrada justo después de que Tank resuelva sus asuntos pendientes con la Monrochi en agosto para algunos el momento es demasiado perfecto el punitazo viral en el aeropuerto y un poco demasiado limpio el silencio de ambos campamentos sospechosamente estratégico.
I gotta ask you, how real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to.
Y con ambos peleadores conocidos por capra titulares muchos creen que todo fue una farsa publicitaria bien elaborada diseñada para generar conversación. Y aumenta las ventas de pago por eventos simos realistas esta pelea no tiene absolutamente ningún sentido para la carrera de Tank.
This might be the worst thing that ever happened in the history of humanity. Jake Paul is set to fight Gervonta Tank Davis in November. This is ridiculous. First of all, Tank, I know you're known for not taking the hardest fights, but you at least fight actual boxers. What are you doing? Besides getting that bag. Second, Jake, why are you doing this? You're a bad person. Let's ignore the fact that I have personally watched this man rob a P.F. Chang's. Let's talk about his refusal to fight real boxers. He gets criticized for refusing to fight real boxers, so he fights Mike Tyson, a 60-year-old boxer. He gets criticized for fighting a 60-year-old boxer, so he fights a current championship boxer who is literally 100 pounds lighter than him. Tank Davis is a lightweight, 135 pounds. Jake Paul is a cruiserweight, 235 pounds. You're never beating this fraud allegation, Jake, so why are you doing this? What do you guys think of this fight? And don't tell me anything good. Say it in the comments, though.
Digamos Q Tank Derrota, La Monrochi and Agosto sin controversia, solo domination, total el regreso este completo, los Q dudaban silenciados, el invencible Tank ha vuelto. Pensarias Q el siguiente paso a Shakur Stevenson, o una revancha, con devin honey verdad incorrecto y en cambio este buscando dinero de Netflix con un YouTuber.
When we wanted the Loma fight, when it was in its prime, him and Mayweather, their team just, they just danced around it. When we wanted the Devin fight for Undisputed, the belts don't matter. I could just give them to my kids because everybody's winning belts. Shakur, he's easy work, he's boring, but you don't want to unify against him. Keyshawn might have a chance. You feel me? It's just disgusting. We wanted the Bud fight too after he called him out, and we also would have took a Teofimo Lopez fight. But then his fans would say, oh, but they're too big. They're not in his weight class. What the fuck is Jake Paul? This is the bullshit I be talking about. Like, this shit does nothing for the sport of boxing, but in terms of the division of 135, it doesn't do jack.
Has Q Tangas sentido ahora cambiamos el guion imagina Q Tank period contra roach son dos derrotas consecutivas. Hicimos realistas roach casi gana la primera si el árbitro hubiera cantado y derribos I Tank period la revancha la emotion por un enfrentamiento con Jake Paul se desveniz por completo. Quien sintonizaria para ver un tipo recién salido de una derrota ante la Monroe subas o ring con Jake.
Them say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am,
Via Paris y un movimiento de desesperación total como un tipo que no quiere enfrentarse a peleadores de verdad, y solo quiere un pego face.
What do you think of former athletes and celebrities like Jake Paul taking up boxing? You think that grows the sport?
If he's doing it for the right reason, actually want to do it because of just like actually want to box, it's cool. But if he's doing it for like the wrong reason, just to get the hype and stuff like that, I feel as though it's trash. Sometimes people get bored at what they doing, and they want to try other stuff. Got to be mentally tough to be able to box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
For sure. That's all I got. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Why sinceramente hizo es lo que mucha gente y está diciendo miren la señales Tank ha estado hablando de retiras dijo que el boxeo es aburrido.
Why are you retiring?
What changed? What made you trash? Garbage.
if you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Gervonta, something should have happened during this time because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything?
Fed up with
Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might regain the love for it though? You never know. Like you said, you got to squawk today.
O esto Tank ha sido sorprendido fumando durante el campo de entrenamiento. Si el mismo campo para su pelea contra la Monroe no es de extrañar que casi lo derribaron. Literalmente rompió los ojos con Calvin Ford, el único entrenador que lo apoyó desde el primer día.
Something is definitely going on between Calvin Ford and Gervonta Davis. Now, we all seen that knockdown in the 9th round, but what you probably didn't see is what happened after that in between rounds. Check this out.
You guys calm down. Listen to me. Hey, come on now.
Coach Barry Hunter trained Tank for this fight with Lamont Roach, not Calvin Ford. A lot of people were saying that this performance has something to do with that. So, is something really going on between Calvin Ford and Tank Davis? Check out what Tank had to say.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to the crowd. You know what I mean? I was more so. It's something we gotta work on in the corner, for sure.
Todo lo que Tank ha estado haciendo últimamente es gritar y terminado con el boxeo. Entonces, Por Cumatersi en la pelea con Jake Paul facial todo is question de dinero tank. Why no pasig cinturón pasig mil ones? Why Jake Paul pays de todas las provocaciones a través de clicks publicidad? Why lo más importante checks?
Is it true that you made $170 million from this fight?
I made a lot of money, the most money I've made ever.
60 million households, Jake.
250 million people.
Bro, that is so
It's all downhill
crazy.
from here.
No, for sure.
La pelea de Jake con Tyson Basio records audiencia en Netflix. I Netflix view of afirmar para la pelea de tank estemos hablando de un pago de más de 50 millones de dólares en su eso es mucho más de lo que tank en enfrentando a shikol y henny combinados antes de que Gervonta pueda siquiera pensar en Jake Paul team q super a la mon rochizo no es un paseo por. El pa que su primera pelea fue salvage especialmente el controvertido noveno asalto don Ruiz conecto un golpo. Cuerpo que parisha un derribo pero el árbitro lo calificó como un resbalón. Los fans estaban furiosos y muchos sintieron que Roach lo robaron a hora con la revancha programada para agosto. Roach lega con un chipi en el hombro y tank no pudo permitir el lujo de subestimar un era y la pelea con Jake Paul podría en siquiera suceder. Los fans están demasiado emocionados con este enfrentamiento entre tank y Jake pero primero hablamos de lo loco que es esto en realidad. Jake Paul acabada anuncia que pelea en 195 libras eso es territorio de peso pesado y hasta aquí es report numbers vimos en un siguiente video.